بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Readings of Waraqat. Now, we reached the last section in Imam al-Haramain's discussion of universals. And there's a few points here that have to be made, And I hope, inshallah, to make it as easy for everyone as possible. And then in the future, we can unpack them more and more and more and more. The Shaykh, he says, وَالْعُمُومُ مِنْ صِفَاتِ اللَّفْظِ. What does that mean? According to Imam al-Haramain, you can only use words as evidences for universals. You can only use words, what's spoken, not written, as evidence for universals. That's very important. So that means the Quran, yes, but when it comes to the Sunnah, we know there's three parts to the Sunnah: what's spoken, what's acted on, and sounded approval. So that means he's restricting umum only to what the Prophet said, not what he did or his silent approvals. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why he says, وَلَا يَجُوزُ دَعْوَ الْعُمُومِ فِي غَيْرِهِ وَلَا يَجُوزُ دَعْوَ الْعُمُومِ فِي غَيْرِهِ. So the entire introduction, he says, وَالْعُمُومُ مِنْ صِفَاتِ اللَّفْظِ خاص من صفات النطق فلا يجوز دعوى العموم في غيره كما في جمعه صلى الله عليه وسلم بين الصلاتين في سفر. So here, Imam al-Haramain, he's making some points. Number one is, according to his madhab, the madhab of Sadat Shafi'iyya, madhab of Sayyidina Imam al-Shirazi, universals can only come from what's spoken. The Malikis would say no. Say la, because a action after a negation is am. We just learned that. النكرة بعد النفي تفيد العموم. And in fact, we say specifically there are three scenarios where this is going to happen as an introduction for you. Number one is an action after negation. For example, لا شربت. I didn't drink. I didn't drink what? Anything. لا شربت شيئا. So that's am. If I say in شربت, if I drink أي شيء, anything, as a condition. So after a negation, after a condition. And also, if I use masdar, if you don't know what is masdar, again, foundations of Arabic language, that's why I taught it, to help you navigate these kind of texts. Masdar is used to emphasize something or to show its comprehensiveness. So if I say, لا أكلت أكلا, لا شربت شربا, I did not eat anything. I did not drink anything. So مصدر بعد الفعل بعد النفي يفيد. So three scenarios here related to actions with the Malikis. Because we say that an action is like a word with tanween. And a word with tanween that comes after negation or after condition or after negation with masdar is umum. So therefore, since words with tanween are like actions, then we also say actions take the same ruling. Halas. We'll unpack that more in the future. So that's why Sidi Abdillahi in Maraqi Saud, inshallah, one day we can teach Maraqi Saud. He said, وَنَحْوُ لَا شَرِبْتُ أو إِن شَرِبْنَا وَاتَّفَقُوا إِن مَصْدَرُ قَدْ جُلِّبَ. He says, وَنَحْوُ لَا شَرِبْتُ أو إن شربنا واتفقوا إن مصدر قد جلب قد ظهيرات. The Sayyidina Maulana Sidi Abdullah Maraqi Saudi said وَنَحْوُ لَا شَرِبْتُ أو إن شربنا واتفقوا إن مصدر قد جلب. What does it mean? Examples of actions that carry umum are the following. وَنَحْوُ, for example, لا شربت أو إن شربنا, لا شربت أو إن شربنا, I did not drink, if we drink, واتفقوا, and they agree, in masdarun, if the masdar, قد indeed جُلِّبَ, قد ظهر, قد بُرِزَ, and with masdar. So here, we differ with Imam al-Haramain, who says, وَالْعُمُومُ مِنْ صِفَاتِ النُّطْقِ فَلَا يَجُوزُ دَعْوَى الْعُمُومِ فِي غَيْرِهِ كَجَمْعِهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم في السفر. So that is she. Not completely. There are conditions for that. Rahimahullah. Because if you say his argument is, if you say, the Prophet ﷺ joined two prayers while he was in travel. In travel here, means any travel, far, near, across the street. But there's an argument for this that can be made outside of his position. وكما في قضائه بالشفعة للجاري, the Prophet ﷺ adjudicated between his neighbors. In the qada of the Messenger of Allah, his judgments, we don't take umum. Although Sadat al-Hanabila differ on this, and they say, no, these things are understood to be universal, because the Sahaba were min ahli al-fasaha, hum kanu bulagha. The Sahaba, their language is very strong. So if they use something that means am, it means am. Whether it's related to the Prophet's judgments or someone's describing how he judged between two people or adjudicated between them, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, that means umum. Wa ana ma'um. I agree with him actually. Sadat al-Hanabila rahimahumullah. قالوا العموم في مثل هذه الصيغة من الراوي لأن الصحابي الراوي عدل عارف باللغة، فظاهر أنه لم ينقل صيغة العموم إلا إذا علم أو ظن صيغة العموم. As I just said, it said like, no way we would think that the Sahaba would use a form which implies universality even in the language unless they knew that's what it meant, because they were very careful in how they narrated on behalf of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were masters of the language. That's what Imam al-Mardawi, he said very clearly, نحو قولي صحابي نهى عن البيع الغرض. No, the Sahaba say we were prohibited from doing something like gharar. That means all forms of gharar, because that's the meaning of the statement. So this last section, Imam al-Haramain says, وَالْعُمُومُ مِنْ صِفَاتِ النُّطْقِ, that umum is only taken from what's spoken. And we said now there's some differences of opinion on that. MashaAllah, the Malikiyya say, لا يا شيخ, because الأفعال أو الفعل بعد النكرة يفيد العموم كما تكلمنا عنه في الحلقة السابقة الماضية, that an action after negation means عام, ambiguity. It's like nakira tanween, or nakira بعد النفي تفيد العموم. And then they mention three situations. قال سيدي عبد الله ونحو لا شربت أو إن شربنا واتفقوا مصدر قد جلب. So a fi'l after nafi, condition or masdar of a fi'l after a nafi. Then we also mentioned al-qada, the judgments of the Messenger of Allah that people saw sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hanabila say that those things mean am, umum. فخلاص, that's the end of talking about am and khas. Next time, inshallah, we'll bring some examples of am so you can practice. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakum Allahu khairan. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.